Djokovic is making the running.
Game changer.
All right, we're live, Sporton, Nila TV. That's where we're streaming from. Mamolani, Pampa, pleasure to have you back with us once again. And it's still all about the FIFA World Cup just gone by. It's the first team that qualified to the quarterfinals via the penalties. We have our first penalty shootout of the tournament. Japan are out of the competition, losing to Croatia, of course, by the lottery after regulation time ended 1-0. Still to come tonight, it's Brazil against South Korea. The Brazilians are buoyed by the return of Neymar. Remember that he missed the last two group games, but the star man is back for the Brazilians once again. Let's see what he does against the South Koreans. Enough to welcome Tomiwa back to the show once again. Tomiwa has been writing. He started his exams today, so how was your first set of papers?
It went well. Glory to God. It's good to be here again doing this. I'm excited to.
Have you been able to catch up with the recent games?
Not really, but I watched France yesterday. I had to watch the greatness of Mbappe and seeing how good he's becoming. So I just had to.
Did you see the greatness of Mbappe?
Yeah, because he has scored 9 World Cup goals so far, and he has just been to this is just his second World Cup. So it's a greatness as far as I'm concerned. If he probably gets to more World Cups, he retires or he ends playing football, he might eventually score more goals in the World Cup. So I'm happy for him, but I had to slide my book yesterday and just decide to watch that particular match. I would have loved to watch the England match, but nah, I had to focus on my book.
You missed a lot.
Yeah.
You got Senegal disappointed.
Yes, I watched the highlight, and I wouldn't say I was disappointed in Senegal because I did not expect much from them. I said that they were going to leave their group, but I didn't see them going far after leaving the group. But they were the only African team I was pushing forward, and I was happy that they left the group and they eventually go to the next round. But I didn't see them going past the next round. So it was never going to be possible against an English team or probably a USA team. So it was never going to be possible for them.
All right, it's just unfortunate that Senegalese are out of the FIFA World Cup, so we are left with only just an African representative, and that's Morocco. We hope that yes, they do us proud against the Spaniard tomorrow, and maybe qualify to the quarterfinals of the tournament. We're just getting started. We'll come back after this break, and yes, we have a bite on what happened yesterday and what has just gone by. Croatia, the finalists in 2018, through to the quarterfinals. They wait for the winner of Brazil, South Korea later tonight.
Game changer.
Thank you so much for joining us once again, and it's all about the FIFA World Cup. It's been 2 weeks of intense activities, and it continues until December 18. We wait for which team will be crowned champions of the world once again. Will it be France or probably the Three Lions who are chasing their first ever title since 1966? And the Three Lions are cruising. Just got another good victory against the Senegalese. The golfing class was very evident in that game yesterday. 3 goals to 0. Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, and Jordan Henderson's were the goal scorers for Gareth Southgate. But it's all about what the English side has done in this tournament. Pre-tournament, many people had their doubts about how far this team can go based on their record and their performance before the World Cup. But after 4 games, are you really convinced about the ability of this English side?
I think the problem with the English national team has always been the setup of the manager, Gareth Southgate. He has always tried to be more defensive-minded. But this World Cup, so far so good in this World Cup, I've seen a different side of Gareth Southgate. I think he has received criticism and he has learned from the mistake he has made, because the Nations League, we saw how bad England were playing. They were not playing to their full potentials. England is a very, very good team. We know they have potentials everywhere. We see these players every day in the English Premiership, and we see them also we see some of them playing in the Championship, which is the biggest stage in the world. So they have the talents, no doubt, but it is the manager, it is the way he set up his team to play, and they are probably playing to his instruction. He has always been defensive, but looking at these 4 matches that he played, he has decided to start with a 4 back 4, then 2 defensive midfielders, then 3 attackers, then a striker, which is 43-1. But looking at that, during the Nations League, it was always a 3-5-2 setup, and then they tried to counter and look for probably Harry Kane or Ryan Sterling. That has always been the tactics he has always used when he came on board. But now you can see that now I think he has received criticism. He knows that these players have talent. He's making the players enjoy their football. The players are enjoying the way they are playing. I watched the highlight this morning and I was seeing the way Foden was driving around. And I've always said this: Foden is a player that he needs to start in that team. They should get where they are probably going to fix him in that team. He needs to be a starter in that team, because he's the creative force of that English national team. And I've always said it. I think I said it the last time in the studio. And I was happy yesterday that he didn't prove me wrong. Also, the third match against I'm trying to remember their opponent now, but he's not coming to me. I think Wales. He also played very, very well in that game. He and Marcus Rashford, and he deserved the start yesterday. And yesterday he gave an assist in the game. So good one for Phil Foden, good one for the English national team. So far so good. I feel like they are underappreciated because of the way Gareth Southgate always set his team up to play. But now that they have been playing very, very well, I think a lot of people start appreciating them more. And if they should play the way they played yesterday against Senegal and play against France that way, I think we should start welcoming England to the semi-final.
They have a tough job in their hands against the Le Bleu, who themselves have not really light up the tournament. Mauricio Pochettino was saying that they've gotten to this point based on individual brilliance. The brilliance of Kylian Mbappe, who has scored 5 goals in this tournament, and Olivier Giroud, who is also having a fantastic World Cup. But do you really agree with the thought of Mauricio Pochettino, who believes that if France must defend their title successfully in Qatar, they must play collectively and not rely on the brilliance of those 2 men I mentioned?
Yeah, even if I want to rely with Mauricio Pochettino, I will still give credit to France, because coming into this tournament with a lot of injuries they have, I won't deny. No, I'm not sure a lot of people give them a chance to even leave the group stage. But now they've left the group stage. They've won their match in the round of 16. They are through to the quarterfinals. And yes, you are still saying this is true individual brilliance. Yes, I agree with what he's saying, but I'm not fully in support of with what he's saying, in the sense that this is not their main starting 11. This is not their main team, but then they are still building something out of this team.
This is not their main team.
They are missing Pogba, Kante.
I wouldn't. Those ones they've been on the fringes.
No,
Kante has not been the Kante that we saw in 2018.
Yes,
Pogba has struggled since 2018.
But that was still there. If these players were around, they'll probably still be starting ahead of the Rabiu and Tchouaméni. This is what we know. So, but then these players are injured. They are not part of the team. They are not part of the setup. But they are still doing well. This is the first time Aurelien Tchouaméni is playing in the World Cup. This is probably the second time Adrien Rabiot is playing in the World Cup. But they are not doing so badly as people are saying they are doing. Fine, it is individual brilliance, saying that we know how good Mbappe is. And France has always played towards his strengths. Even if you can remember the 2018 World Cup, it has always been an Mbappe because it was you know how fast he is, and France always play on the counter offensive side. That is it. They try to look for Mbappe because they know he has the speed, and Pogba tries to look for him during that 2018 World Cup countless times, and then you just go with the speed, and then he cuts once, and then he scores. So that's just how it has always been. So I don't want to take anything away from the French national team. I think they have not done bad as far as people are saying. They have done pretty well. They are in the quarterfinal for crying out loud. A lot of teams started this competition and they are not there anymore. They have gone back to their various houses, but they are still there. They are going to face England in the quarterfinals, and they might probably get to the semi-final. And if you are in the semi-final of a competition, you are probably looking at the final in front of you, and you can always get there. So far so good. I don't think they've done badly for themselves.
I would have loved to put you on the spot, probably get your thoughts about who will qualify, but I'm not going to do that. Now let's talk about Morocco, who is holding on to our last hope as Africans. Senegal have disappointed us. We had so much expectation from the Teranga Lions. Yes, maybe it was going to be difficult for them to win against England, but I felt that yesterday they were quite pedestrian. England didn't have to even switch to year 2. Yes. Won comfortably before you could say Jack 2 goals in the first half, and that was what she wrote for the 3 Lions. But all our eyes are on the Moroccans, who have surprised everyone in Qatar. They finished top of their group with 7 points against all odds against Belgium. In fact, they beat Belgium, who of course they are the second best team in the world. Against Spain tomorrow is of course add not to cracker for the Moroccans. We know what the Spaniards can do on their day. Do you see Morocco pulling the chestnut out of the fire?
And we need to also remember that this is a kind of debut in some kind of way, because Morocco, because Morocco is not far from Spain. Yeah. So it's going to be it's going to be an intense game tomorrow, and I'm sure that a lot of people will be looking forward to that game, especially people in Morocco and in Spain. Looking at the game, me personally, I feel like Spain hasn't really done much. Apart from the first game that they won convincingly, they won I think 7-0. Costa Rica. Apart from that game, I don't think they've done much to be frank. They drew their second game was against Germany, and then they lost to Japan, and then nobody saw that coming. They've not been really convincing. And then look at the Morocco team they've defeated Belgium. Nobody gave them a chance. They drew their first game, they won their second game, they won their third game against Belgium. And looking at the team, they have quality players. But people were not really looking at them because they felt like, okay, they are in a group of death. They have Belgium in that team. They have Croatia in that team. So people did not really give them a chance because people felt like, okay, the big guns were on the team. That was why it was looking like, okay, they might probably not go far in the competition. But now that they've shown us what they are made of, if they can defeat Spain tomorrow, they are in the quarterfinals, and nobody will give them a chance.
And I feel they have the quality to beat Spain. I've taken a look at this Spanish side, and it doesn't ooze confidence. It's made up of young set of players who are largely inexperienced at this stage. So Morocco, with the likes of Hakim Ziyech, Hakimi Ashraf, El Nesiri, they can take a look at Luis Enrique's side and feel that, hey, we can get something out of them.
Exactly what I said earlier. They have a very good team, and then I'm not even taking anything away from their team. They have quality players everywhere. They have a Neil Agod who plays for West Ham, he's centre back. They have Hakim Ziyech. They have Yusuf Bono, a goalkeeper from Sevilla. Yeah. So they also have quality players in that team. They have players that are playing for the big teams in the world, and they know what it takes to win also. And then look at the Spanish national team. I saw the goal that Unai Simon considered against Japan the other day, and I was surprised that they said Unai Simon is good because he's good with his feet. He should be saving this ball, because I know that David De Gea will probably have saved that ball. But just because Unai Simon is good with his feet, he's ahead of David De Gea in the pecking order in the Spanish national team. So there are a lot of things to look at when it comes to the Spanish national team. The team does not have, they lack experience. Look at the team in general. The only leader I can pick from that team is Sergio Busquets. The rest are young players, and then they are players that they can't really do much. Like Pedri, this is their first World Cup, so they don't really have much experience like that. But they have Busquets. Busquets can't do it alone as a leader, as an experienced player. If he has a Sergio Ramos with him, it would have been very, very easier and helpful to help this younger player.
Are you not going to mention about Morata?
Morata, to me, I feel like Morata is still a young player. He's
28 or 29.
He's 28, 29. I'm very sure that this is second World Cup or third World Cup. But me, I always see him as a young. I'm sorry to say, I always see him as a young player because I don't really see him as that young at that young that old age player or player that has a lot of experience like that. You can't use his experience with the experience that Sadio Ramos would have someone that has been to 3 or 4 World Cups so far. So I just feel like looking at the game tomorrow, if Morocco should play very very well, they should play to their tactics, they should play to instruction. If they should play the way they played against Belgium, just sit tight and not be put under pressure. Don't concede early, and then you can score your goal at any time. You can make use of your opportunities, and I feel like you'll probably get the win from that match.
All right, it's a big challenge for the Atlas Lions of Morocco. They face the Spanish side 4 p.m. Tomorrow. They've broken the record already, becoming the first African side since Nigeria did that in 1998, France 98, to finish top of their group. And I'm sure that all eyes will be on what they do against Luis Enrique, who says that he wants all of the big luck by the lottery tomorrow. It looks like they've been preparing for penalties tomorrow against the Moroccans. But let's shift our attention to what has just gone by some few minutes ago. Croatia through to the quarterfinals. I wasn't really impressed with what they've done in this tournament, and now they have to rely on the lottery to get them this far. I was talking with another colleague and I said, hey, I look at this squad. It's made up of aged player, Ivan Perisic, Luka Modric, Mateo Kovacic, Brozovic, Dejan Lovren. These were guys that did the job for them in 2018 and they are here in 2022. And I don't think that they've done well enough to be at this stage, not to take anything away from their performance.
I said it when the group stage game started. Their first game, I think it ended in a draw. I think that was against Morocco, and then their second game, I think they won and they drew their last match. I was always saying that Croatia, one way or the other, will eventually leave the group, and then they might probably even get to the semi-final. That was the same thing they did in 2018. They did not really get the attention of a lot of people, but then they started getting the attention when they started getting to the semi-final, the quarter-final,
and they had to rely on
penalty
shootout against England, against Denmark,
and this is what they have started doing now, and this is probably what will get them far again into the competition, because that was what got them far in 2018. We saw how they did against England. They kept the pressure. They were into bothered, and they took the game to penalties. They won by penalties, and so when you are in this stage of the competition, I think what teams just do is probably let's just not concede, and then let's see how it goes with penalty shootout. Penalty is a game of luck. Anything can happen. Whoever wins goes through. So I think that's what they did in 2018, and it paid off for them. And I think they started doing that also today by defeating Japan via penalties. I could not see the game because I was very very busy. But then I wanted Japan to move into the next, because this World Cup tournament, if I'm to pick a team that I've been really really impressed with, I think I've been very very impressed with the way the Japanese have played. I saw the way they played against Spain, and I was very impressed. Even against Germany, I was very very impressed. So I wanted them to really go find the competition, but it is what it is, because they don't really have that experience, so you can't really vouch for them when it comes to the experience. Man, so look at Croatia. Croatia has a team that has experience. They did it in 2018. They know what it is. But this is probably Japan as well. This is probably like the second time they are getting to this round. Or who knows?
It's not back to back. Last 16, exits for them. They crashed out in 2018 in the last 16,
exactly.
And now they're out. And I must say that maybe they didn't train for penalty shootout, because they're quite terrible. I felt they could have done better. I mean, how would you lose 3 penalties?
Wow, I have never even noticed. Wow,
they lost their first 2.
That's very bad.
Croatia lost, and when we thought that probably we had a game in our hands, they lost again, and that was it for Croatia. And Croatia will now wait for the winner between Brazil and South Korea tonight. Yes. The Brazilians, many people are still not yet really convinced about their title credential in Qatar. They are gunning for their 6th title. They have all of the attacking firepowers. Richarlison has gone under the radar since the 2 goals he scored against Serbia, and it's very difficult to really pinpoint the major difference for this Brazilian side. But the good thing for them is, ahead of tonight's game, is that Neymar is back, and Tite will be hoping that the PSG star brings his A game to the table tonight.
I think if you look at this competition very very well, we can't really point out to a team that okay, fine, at this stage of the competition, this is probably a team that will also will probably go on and win the competition.
Yeah.
If you look at the likes of Portugal, they've not really been convincing. Argentina has not really been convincing. Brazil, they've not also been convincing. So yeah, I think it's not really a Brazil thing. I think it's more of the teams in the World Cup,
the tournament in general,
the way the tournament is being set up in general. But looking at Brazil this year, I don't see them. I don't see South Korea doing anything magical. The fact that Neymar is back, and then Brazil, they want to go ahead and qualify to the next round, because they know how it is, what it means to get to the next stage of that competition. I'm very sure they will still be odds by what happened in 2018, in 2014 in Brazil, in that World Cup, how they lost to Germany. And I'm sure that they want to put that aside and go far and go well in this competition, probably get to the final and win it. And you could see the way Tite has been talking. He has always been clamoring for the title. Like, he wants them to go back to Brazil with that World Cup title. So looking at how they probably set up this night, I probably see them winning the match. I see Neymar starting.
The South Koreans' record against them is quite abysmal. The last 7 games, they've only won once. In fact, the recent time they won
they lost
in a friendly by 5 goals to 0.
Yeah.
So Brazil have no excuse not to win.
Brazil has no excuse not to win, but you can't take anything away from the South Koreans. Like, before we came on air, I think I was telling you that the Asian teams, they've not really done bad this time around. Japan, look at South Korea. South Korea have not been really bad, like as people think they are. And then it's just like the teams that are going to face this night has more qualities and has more experience than them. I think that was probably what will favor Brazil in this night. So I don't see South Korea doing anything spectacular as far as point. Even though Brazil has not really been spectacular themselves, but I still see them moving into the next round. Probably when they get to the quarter final, then we can now start saying, okay, this is what is going to happen. But now I see them going through.
All right, it's going to be very interesting what the South Koreans would do against Brazil. It's a tough call for them. Brazil wanted to give Pelé, who is in the hospital fighting for his life, maybe a perfect gift, and prayers have been called up for the legendary Brazilian star. He's 86 years, and yes, he won 3 World Cups. Won his first World Cup at the age of 17, despite not playing in Europe. If you want to talk about the greatest player we've ever seen, of course, Pelé will always be in that in that conversation. More action will come through tonight. Is Morocco tomorrow? I beg your pardon. Is Morocco against Spain, and we have, of course, Portugal against Switzerland. Tomiwa, before we leave, let's quickly touch on that Portugal-Switzerland game. It's all about Cristiano Ronaldo and his outbursts. It looks like the things that he's been saying in recent days have unsettled the camp of Portugal, and Fernando Santos was not quite impressed with his last statement ahead of the game against Switzerland. But he says that if Portugal wins any major trophy, that it's very difficult compared to if a Brazil or an Argentina wins. I mean, and some people have really disagreed with that comment made by Cristiano Ronaldo, because they believe that, hey, if you want to take a look at the players for Portugal and you compare them to the rest of the teams in the tournament, probably they've got one of the best teams in Qatar.
I really don't want to draw myself into anything involving Cristiano Ronaldo, because as I've talked more extensively about him, and I'm so happy
with him.
And I'm so happy that he has left my club. So whatever is going on between him now, I really don't want to draw myself into that, because I kept saying it. I kept telling my friends that it is not even about Manchester United. Ronaldo has been poor this season. Yes, agreed, he carried Manchester United last season. We all know that. But this season, let us accept that he has been poor. We've seen the World Cup. We've seen 3 games already. We've seen how poor he has been. Apart from the penalty shootout he scored against Ghana in the first match, the second match, he was poor. Against Uruguay, same, he was poor. He even tried to claim a goal.
Do you think it's about time Santos bench him?
It is about time Santos benched him, but we know the kind of player Ronaldo is. He doesn't want to sit on the bench. If you sit on the bench, there's always going to be a problem. And that was why even the third game, I was even expecting Fernando Santos to bench him, because they've qualified from the group. They have 6 points already. He benched every other player in that team. Every other player that starts for in that team, but Cristiano Ronaldo still started, and then he was even the one that gave I think South Korea the goal that he scored. He was the one that made them score, like gave the ball away and they scored. So looking at his general, I think Ronaldo this season particularly he has been woeful. We should just accept that okay, Ronaldo has not been the Ronaldo he has always been previous season. Fine, age might be getting up with him because he's also a human being. You understand the fact that he's a human being. Age get up with everybody, but people should not be expecting that okay, the same Ronaldo that was last year will keep being the same Ronaldo that he still is in every year. He's always going to get to a point that he's probably not going to play well any longer. So let's just start accepting and not start making it look like okay, fine. If Ronaldo is not playing well, then it's a bad idea. For me, Portugal, Switzerland are a very, very good team. They should also find the competition. It shows in the Euros that they are a very, very good team. They have the likes of Mbolo, Jadon Shaqiri, fantastic player. Granit Xhaka is also there. They have a very, very solid team. And if Portugal are not careful tomorrow, they might actually send them back to Lisbon.
All right, it's a big challenge. Tomiwa was given to Cristiano Ronaldo. Probably he would take this and light up the competition in the knockout phase. Lionel Messi is a competitor, has laid down the marker, getting his first ever FIFA World Cup knockout goal. That was against which team again?
Mexico.
Forgotten. How did I miss that? Argentina. It was against Australia.
Yes.
It was